Welcome to Body Work.
Please fasten your seatbelts.
I had 11 Olympians and over 800 national champs. And all those men, they wouldn't do half the work that she do. And I'm seeing it from the young ladies. These last 2 years, when you think about it, all the good fights is coming from the women. The guys is ducking each other, looking for the easy way. I'm telling you like it is, you know? So again, you know, this young lady done did everything I asked of, and she did more. And I'm watching all the young ladies that's boxing now. It's like they trying to prove they better than men. Now, we knew they was kind of there, but now they showing that they mean. You know, in the old days in Philly, we call these guys crazy. And that's the way these women are. So when you go back home, speak nice to you.
Welcome to Body Work. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Body Work Boxing. Oh, man. Y'all thought I was going to play around and do my audio today. Nah, man. I'm going to do my audio live, even though I do like that vibe. What's going on, y'all, man? Let's talk about Clown Gate. Clown business, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I didn't call the man a clown. He called himself a clown. I did that. I don't know. I did that I did that deep little breakdown the other day. The why so serious. I did that the other day, man. It was a lot, but then I looked at everything and I said, dang, man. I looked at that whole ordeal last night. And I couldn't really do what I wanted. I couldn't really react as fast as everybody else because, hold on, let me see. Champion Sports Boxing, salute. Man, salute for coming to the building. But I was here, you know what I'm saying? Me and the 300, you know what I'm saying? That's what I call it, aka the kidneys, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that's part of Body Work. Everybody that's down with the squad. Me and the kidneys was doing our, me and the kidneys was doing our thing. We was calling the fights. You know what I'm saying? We was calling it as it went. We was consulting with each other as the fight was going on. And then afterwards we was sitting around like, did we just get gaslit? You know what I'm saying? Were they playing with what our eyes were able to see? Like, were they playing with us? and I couldn't help but believe that, yeah, man. I think it's a lot that we gotta break down, It's a lot that we gotta break down and get into. And let's see. The whole robbery or gift. You know what I'm saying? Like robbery or gift. Because I hear a lot of people say, hey, it couldn't have been no robbery. There couldn't be no robbery. And then I hear people say, oh man, T.O. got a gift. T.O. got a gift. Melazar, what's up? What's up? Yeah. Yeah, I was wanting the man because Melazar, part of how you get down, you know what I'm saying? How you get down. We was chatting earlier, I got your feedback and I said, I gotta touch bases on how he feel because it's a lot of people that feel that way, but when we actually look at the fight, man, like in my honest opinion, man, it was a blowout. It was a blowout. We watched it in real time, especially with Teofimo Lopez setting the stakes so high, attaching his name to somebody like Bud Crawford. And we always wait for a boxer to come out and show, any upgrades or any advances, in the craft. And no. No. I was trying to be optimistic before. But I like the energy, man, because if somebody don't have that kind of energy, man, ain't nobody gonna be trying to grab their cojones and jump up. You see, ain't nobody even trying to step up to Brilliance Matias. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I heard a little rumblings. We'll get into that too. But when I looked at it, right, because I think it's a big ordeal about the scoring criteria, and I think it really, I think we were saying this during the live yesterday. I think it was really the major. I mean, however you want to decide defense, you know what I'm saying? Whoever you want to give credit for defense, but mainly the big one was the ring generalship. The ring generalship. I would say the last 2-3 years. I know it was before that Tank fight. It was before that. It was before that Tank and Isaac Cruz fight. I know before that, but the last couple of years, I would actually have to say that the way a lot of judges, when we look at it, the way a lot of judges score that ring generalship, they prefer the bull. They prefer the bull. Like we starting to see a lot of decisions where because you were the aggressor, you know what I'm saying? Even though they have effective aggression, and then that's trivial in today's day and time. That's very trivial. Because how effective was T.O.'s aggression? He couldn't cut off because everybody was saying he don't know how to cut off the ring. And I hear a lot of people that was in defense of Boots against the Quran, Chukajan. A lot of people that was in defense of the Quran, Chukajan whole thing. Oh man, what Boots did, because I came out and I said, oh man, I seen Boots swing himself around. I seen T.O. do the same thing. Like he swung and was on the ropes and he casually played it off and backed up and turned around. But I'm like, you swung and you missed. Now that could be under effective punching, yeah, but wouldn't that go on the defense in regards to Jamaine Ortiz to make a man miss like that? We saw a lot of the flashy stuff, like a lot of the things that Boots be doing when they do that, when they do all that, we see that, but is that really effective defense? Like, yes, it's a form of showboating and it's the showmanship part of it, but do you give credit for somebody like that with defense or somebody that's using your legs to the point to where as soon as you go to take a step in, they already see where you coming, they know where you can punch from, and they already creating an angle to where as soon as you make an adjustment, bow right upside your head. I think that Jamaine Ortiz, he pretty much he finessed. If I have to use the words of the great Shakur Stevenson, I believe that in this case, Jamaine Ortiz finessed Teofimo Lopez. And I couldn't react because it was so late last night. I mean, I think by the time everything got off, And by the time I laid down, I think it was probably about 130, 140. I had to be right back up at like 4:15. You know what I'm saying? I was burning the midnight on. I've been burning the candle on both ends, but I'm seeing that a lot of people, mainly my Hispanic brethren, they don't like, they want to see a bang. They want that action. They want to see people get it on. Like, you know, that it don't have to necessarily be rock 'em, sock 'em, but they want that action. If you are being perceived as somebody that is very elusive of the action and you're not really creating the action like that, and a lot of people, I would have to put it under the ring generalship, a lot of people would not give you credit for it. Because I thought that what Jamaine Ortiz said, he ran the clown. He controlled the clown. There were no answers, there was no adjustments, there was no step over. I was even thinking, I remember it was before, I want to say it might have been before the Pedro Campa fight. Teofimo Lopez was like, yeah, we've been practicing going southpaw and this and this and that, and we could do this because we could do that. And you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you're athletic enough. You're athletic enough to do it. Part of me would have said after maybe by about 4 rounds, I would have went southpaw. Because what was killing Tio is, and every fighter, everybody that looks at film can actually see this. And what I call what Jamaine Ortiz did last night was it was the Devin Haney's plan from a southpaw stance. So that's why even though Devin Haney has perfected that, but he's orthodox. You know what I'm saying? He's orthodox. He's not southpaw. So what happened was, what he did was, in the way he fought Teofimo Lopez was, he was fighting in a southpaw stance. So his lead hand, as soon as Teofimo Lopez would come in, because Teofimo Lopez is an orthodox, he's right there by hand, he's right there by traffic, and because Teo walked down with his hands, all he got to do is either feint like he going back or feint like he going forward. But as soon as Teo get motion, he was closing the door on him right away, like right upside his head, because Teo ain't have nothing. And then that stance, what it did was it put Teo's power hand the furthest away from the target. Teo maybe should have thought about going southpaw, taking his time, but then his power hand, which would have been more respected, would have been up front, and it'd have been in the closed guard. I think he should have made that adjustment, because with his power hand up front, he could have parried the jab, and then, you know, had options. Either he gonna go this way, dip to the side, rip to the side. He gonna go this way and rip to the side, or he gonna make his moves. He didn't do that. And I'm like, okay, well, what we said, the same thing we wanted to see from Keyshawn Davis, was we wanted him to show that it was levels. Well, when you are putting yourself up there at the creme de la creme, and yes, wonderful names on a resume. You know what I'm saying? He do have the Lomachenko. He have the Comey for his first belt. He got the way he beat Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? That's the widest margins we've seen. You know what I'm saying? Out of the 3 young fellas that done fought him, Lomachenko, if we're going to grade it, and he fought him earlier. And then he got Josh Taylor. Regardless of what state you think Josh Taylor in. Wonderful resume, good resume, and he got Sandor Martin, which on paper, you know what I'm saying, pretty much he got the nod. He was able to retain. So good resume. But what we wanted to see from Teofimo Lopez, with all this cachet and all this bravado and all this stuff, was we wanted to see levels. We wanted to see adjustments. You know, I go back, I haven't even went back and watched our live, but I remember sitting here last night just looking at it, and I kept saying, I said, man, Teo look lost. And then one of the 300 would be like, man, Teo is lost. We was sitting there watching the same thing. He didn't have any answers. He didn't have any adjustments. And that's what separates some of these special skilled guys. You know what I'm saying? You can't say that somebody is a hype job and ain't this and this and that, a la my guy, Gervonta Tank Davis. Can't say that he's a hype job when he's the most accurate power puncher in the game. Number one, uno. And power is what really matters. You know what I'm saying? Because the jab, it keeps people off. It can be used to do this. It can occupy. It can, it can disguise. It can do a lot of things. You can work off of it. But when it comes down to what really counts, it's that power. When you land in that power, when you start to deplete the body, you start to wear your opponent down, or you make your opponent put his hands in his pockets. But what I saw was I seen a big Jamaine Ortiz, aka light-skinned Jamaine. He was big. I was saying before he was brolic. I was saying before that this was a trap fight. It wound up being a trap fight. Because sometimes even when you win, you lose. Think about it. Shakur Stevenson won, but he lost. Teofimo, he won, but in a sense he lost because it's a brutal sport, man. And sometimes fans are not just going to go idle and stand by idle. They want that action. They're going to say, oh, no, you put that on film. You know what I'm saying? And bottom line is, a lot of the times, man, the elite, Allah, Naoya Inoue, Allah, Bud, Allah, Tank, Allah, David Benavidez, I had to put him in there now. The elite knows how to step up another level, separate themselves, and end the contest. Somehow, it don't matter what level the competition is, when somebody is across from them, they know how to step up, separate themselves, and end the contest. Because even though this is a marathon, it's not a race, but if you have mastered your opponent, you have studied your opponent, you have figured him out, it's time to end the contest. And you can't do it because sometimes you might have somebody that just stylistically they just got your number. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't see the adjustments from Teofimo Lopez. And I think that the biggest gap in this whole scoring last night, the one factor, it would either have to be, defense is one category, but it also would have to be ring generalship. Because if you ask me, it was almost like Jamaine Ortiz was running the show. Because there was even times when I would see Teofimo Lopez, like, I'm going to stop chasing him. He would back up. As soon as he did that, Jamaine Ortiz would step forward and he would be effective. Now, he's not the biggest puncher in the world, but he hit Teo. Teo had his poker face on. I just don't think that Jamaine, I don't think that he's not like that big of a puncher. But he was big enough and solid enough to where Teo wasn't just, remember, Teo, he was walking in, which was a problem, but it wasn't like Teo just said, I'm going to take all of these going in, because he would have got stung like a bee on his way in and probably would have ended up on the canvas, because Jamaine Ortiz was hitting hard enough. He was hitting hard enough to make Teofimo have to think about how he was getting in. It was like he spent a lot of time following the man around. So because it's one thing to put pressure. Earl Spence was good at putting that pressure. He putting that pressure on, you know what I'm saying? When we look throughout his career and not just his last performance, Earl Spence was very effective at putting pressure on people. Tank Davis is very effective at putting pressure on people. It's a certain way when you put that pressure on to where it's like people, they really feel it, like the way they know its consequences. Like, well, if I make this step over here, I'm going to make you pay over here. Even Shakur, when he want to. And he want to step up and put pressure on you, he puts that pressure on you, but he don't just follow you around. So if you had one fighter just following the other fighter around, then I would have to give that edge in ring generalship, controlling, because he was pretty much controlling Teo. Teo was reacting to him instead of taking charge. I mean, he used his legs a lot. We wanted him to engage, but nowadays when you hear somebody say, oh, he won't fight me, it's meaning they won't stand there and engage. And if you think about this, look, mark my words. This Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu fight, Keith Thurman alluded to this in that press conference. He said, oh, when he made that little, you know what I'm saying, he made that little comment, he made that ruffled a lot of soft-ass boxing fans feathers. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it was. When he said, I didn't know that flat-footed such and such was out here and blah, blah, blah. When he made that comment, he was talking about Tim Tszyu, and he said, stand there, Keith. You're going to stand there. You're going to let me hit you. You're going to stand there and let me hit you. It's like, no. See, that's the kind of fight we're going to be looking at, and I'm going to be very, very curious to see the judgments, and I'm going to call that fight as well. But I'm going to be very curious to see how we judge that fight, because Keith Thurman is going to move. He's going to be opportunistic when he punch, and Tim Tszyu is going to want to come in and engage. But I think a lot of fans, I'm starting to question whether a lot of fans expect for somebody when they know that they have a puncher. I'm not talking about what Shakur Stevenson did with De Los Santos, because I don't even look. When I look back, I'm hearing and I'm seeing people draw a lot of parallels between these two fights. To me, these two fights were not the same. These two fights were not the same. In this fight I saw last night, it looked like Jamaine Ortiz had control of that fight. He was the one that enacted his game plan, stuck to his game plan, and Teofimo Lopez did not have the answers. You know what I'm saying? And I think that I would say that the way the scorecards was, we said robbery last night. Jamaine Ortiz did enough to win that fight. Whether you want to say Teo got a gift, whether you want to say Jamaine Ortiz got robbed, that's semantics, my friend. That's wordplay. It's all the same. A gift over here that don't belong to you is a robbery somewhere else. So don't let people out here on YouTube try to mix you up with all these different words and theories and stuff like that. Either way, at the end of the day, Jamaine Ortiz did enough to win that fight. This is much like the politics when I keep mentioning how Triple D ended Usyk with a body shot. He did that body work. They did not allow that verdict to be rendered that Triple D won that fight. Why? Because of politics. It would have messed up Undisputed. Ali Sheik and all them, they wouldn't have no interest in anything right now, because that would have messed up the church's money. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get that anywhere else. But again, last night, rendering the judgment for Jamaine Ortiz would not have. And when we think about it, because I heard a lot of these comparisons. I heard a lot of these comparisons with the Shakur Stevenson and the De Los Santos and the Jamaine Ortiz and the Teofimo Lopez. I keep hearing that, right? But somehow, Shakur Stevenson got the nod in this instance. And if you want to make that comparison, Jamaine Ortiz didn't get the nod in this instance. So some of it, I think a lot of people were looking at this thing, they were judging it whether they were like big Devin Haney fans, or they were like Big Tank fans, or they were like Jamaine Ortiz fans, or anybody but T.O. fans. They were actually looking at it one way. They were looking at it with their own bias, saying, I want T.O. to lose. I want T.O. to lose. So, I ain't buying that. He ain't cut off the ring. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. And then you had the people that say, well, who is Jamaine Ortiz? He don't deserve. No, when we look at it, let's just say, because also been hearing this whole, you got to go and take it from the champion. Now, I understand. I've seen cases where I feel like, nah, you ain't doing enough to take that. Now, you made it questionable. You made it debatable. But when you use those judging criteria, or when you actually look at the fight, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people was watching boxing way before they knew about judging and scoring criteria. And for many years, people didn't say, oh, what were the 4 judging criteria, man? Who won that fight? It's like, no, everybody was sitting around talking, and they said, man, you know, such and such, such and such up. You know what I'm saying? That was it. Everybody was talking. They wasn't saying, oh, by this metric and that. That's when people want to play these games, and they want to be the puppet master, and they kind of want to control you and be like, oh, no, because if you look at defense and, you know, no. Bottom line, if you was watching this, you know that what they were saying last night didn't line up to what your eyeballs were seeing. Just like in my pre-build-up video, I said, regardless of what, in my the video I did before the fight, I said, regardless of what Tim Bradley is saying, I know what my eyeballs seen. We got to start speaking to that. He didn't do that. But then after that, he came out and said the same thing we were saying when the 300 was out here calling the fight. The same thing. So I'm like, don't let semantics and whether you want to be, don't let all look. At the end of the day, this straight boxing. If you didn't have a pen in the pad, if you wasn't keeping score and just for every round you was looking at that fight and seeing, okay, what's going on, this, and that. Now, clean and effective punching, maybe T.O. probably maybe had the more eye-opening, but I saw plenty of times where, Jamaine was just shutting the door on him. Just bam, just going upside. It might not have been enough, but it was enough to where, all right, shoot, I know I can't get in there like that. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't doing nothing different. He didn't make any adjustments. So we could use the scoring criteria to have, long, extended, conversations about it. But at the end of the day, it was all about politics. That belt wasn't going to do enough. And that's why I said Jamaine needed to talk a little dirty. If Jamaine would have talked a little dirty, made it a little bit spicy, showed a little bit. But that's just him. But I also gave him credit in saying that he's one of the most mature boxers out here when it comes, because he don't talk trash. He speak his stuff, but he get a little, spicy just a little bit. But I think if he would have seized the moment, like that whole when T.O. said he was a clown, if he would have did like I said in the pre-video when I said, yeah, well, I'm gonna show you I'm gonna conduct this circus. I'm gonna put that clown and his pops back in the clown car and I'm gonna make him skedaddle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I run this. I'm the ring. Like, if he would have said something kind of spicy and gave people something like, is that the kind of champion that we gonna be able to rock? But for money and for a lot of other reasons, you know what I'm saying? For a lot of other reasons, he didn't win. But also, at the end of the day, like me and Melazar was talking about when we was chatting earlier, you got to take risks. Yeah. You got to take risks. You got to take risks. The special ones in boxing, they take risks. Oh, yeah. They take risks. They're calculated risks, but they take risks. That's what separates. Like, if you're not willing to take that chance to where it's like, I'm trusting. I've been working this combination. I've worked this combination for 3 months. I've been working on this for 3 months now. And I'm going to do it. Like, when I see this and he do that, I'm going to trust that what I have been practicing, I'm going to get in. I'm going to do this. You take risks. You know what I'm saying? You take risks. And I think it got a little bit too late at the end for T.O. as far as risk. But then the kind of risk he was taking was not just do the same thing you've been doing, but faster. Because obviously that wasn't taking a risk, would have been switching to southpaw. You know what I'm saying? Well, your lead hand would have been right there with his lead hand. You could have parried that, you know what I'm saying? But you would have gave him something to think about. Like, he would have looked down like, oh, snap, he fighting me in southpaw. I don't know what he going to do. I didn't see him really make Jamaine Ortiz think. I saw T.O. getting flustered and frustrated, and almost like how when Canelo was fighting Bivol. Remember he got frustrated? Canelo was like, come on. And Bivol was like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I run this. I run this. You know what I'm saying? Take these. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't see that. So the conversations are interesting depending on who you like, who you rock with. You know what I'm saying? I always said it depends on how Teofimo's headspace is when he go into a fight. But I just think, man, I had said something. Somebody had shot me down a long time ago. I said, man, I could see somebody, like, if he could get down, I could see somebody like Teofimo Lopez getting with somebody like Coach Kevin Cunningham, man. He need that kind of disciplinarian that's going to tell T.O., look, shut the fuck up and do what I say. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. Shut the fuck up. Do what I say for the next 2 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of what you know, what you think you know, because once again, man, that man sound like that man Bud was prophetic, man. He was prophetic again, man, what he was talking to T.O., man. I gotta say it, man. It's like, we all think that T.O. fight to the level of his competition. We all think that he gotta be one of them fighters that actually get up for the fight when he actually you know, when he has a big name, he gets up real big. And that's why I was saying it's a trap fight, because I was like, man, I don't know if he see Jamaine, or I don't know if he see Jamaine as big of a threat. And that's another reason why. And I said the only thing about Jamaine sometimes is that he cannot separate himself. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, I guess because of how people scored it, we scored it live in real time. So you could just go back and look at that fight, listen to how we were calling it, because we were checking in. We was speaking it out. We were saying, look, make some adjustments, do this, do that. So I was always saying the only reason why Jamaine Ortiz will fall short is because he would not separate himself. You got to separate yourself, man. Like, if you want to go to that next level, because as a business, they don't want the cool comp. It's the same reason why they wanted to give Rolly back that belt when he lost to Barroso. Marketing Barroso, you know, how he looked. Now, getting him in the ring now, he's something to deal with. But marketing him, putting him beside a Porsche, you know what I'm saying, having him, like, you know, doing a beer endorsement with him, it's like, to a certain extent, that's not marketable. That's just like the people who have not worked on their one-liners. You know, it's like Keyshawn is very comfortable talking in front. It's like these boxers, they don't want to work on their one-liners. They like, look, man, I just want to go in, I want to make my check, and that's all fine. But when you're looking at all things included, you got to consider that in the business. Because I think if Jamaine Ortiz would have talked spicy, if he would have talked spicy beforehand, just a little bit more, not to be disrespectful, but if he would have talked dirty, got spicy a little bit, gave the people something to talk about, like, man, you hear Jamaine talking that? He said this, he created that buzz beforehand, and then inside of the fight, made a huge adjustment and took a risk. What if one of them times, and I say this all the time, sometimes you often see those short choppies. I think Sabril Matias is real good with them short choppies. But what if one of them times, since the whole night he was fighting Teo in Southpaw, what if one of them times he'd have went to the orthodox stance and pivoted out, right? Pivoted out, and as soon as Teo came around to like try to step over the lineup in front of him, he would have just sat down with everything he had straight down the pike. You gotta take risks. You gotta take risks. It's like you gotta separate yourself. You gotta say, all right, because you don't want them questioning, oh man, is he gonna be this docile at the next event? Is this the kind of champ? Can we market this guy? He got the physique, he got the look, you know what I'm saying? He can box, he's a good boxer, you know what I'm saying? But like, I think that a lot of things that was considered in that fight was just like, it was really politics, man. Because it can't nobody. I've heard a lot of people. I've been listening because I was at work. I had to use my hands all day. I'm running around listening to a bunch of different people, and nobody can sit up here and tell me that with a straight face. Nobody can look me straight in my eyeballs and tell me that Teofimo Lopez won that fight. Teofimo Lopez is in my boxes to watch. I'm one of the ones that's going to speak the truth about him. You know what I'm saying? When people just shitting on him for no reason, I'm going to be one of the ones saying, nope, no, stop it. When people shitting on Shakur, I'm going to be the ones, nope, stop. When people shitting on Tank, I'm going to say, nope, stop. I'm just going to call it straight down the middle. I don't have no other way to be. I cannot put on facades. Just when Earl came out and gave that excuse, I said, no, Earl. Close bing. Nope. From now on, you get your ass in that ring, and you ain't in shape, you better be prepared. No excuses. You know what I'm saying? No surrender, no retreat, no excuses. Period. And we can point out why something happened, and we can reason why a fight would be better if this was different and all that, but it ain't no excuse. That's just me, though. I'm just one of them people, man. I can't put on. I cannot not be myself. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I can't act and be a certain kind of way. We saw in T.O.'s face. We saw in his face last night that he lost. We saw when he was getting ready to talk and start speaking, he was quivering, jaw quivering, and you could see that pain behind his eyes, because I think it's the irony of life, man, because he was talking about being water. Being water, my friend, would been making adjustments. So all that book reading, that, you know what I'm saying, maybe instead of doing that alone, you know what I'm saying, not at the press conference, you know what I'm saying, not at the press conference, like, That's not appropriate, man. That's why I say you need your handlers ain't handling you right. You know what I'm saying? If you need some help, holler at me. You know what I'm saying? I know I ain't gonna charge you as much as them, but that wouldn't have been appropriate to read the book then and there. That's something that maybe all day before or after you got done working out, maybe an hour and a half with some dedicated, you know what I'm saying, reading might have been better, but not at the press joint. You know what I'm saying? At the press joint, you supposed to have been talking spicy and, you know what I'm saying, doing what Floyd should do. And I think people mistake the fact that Floyd, he would talk a lot of smack, but it wasn't a bunch of just excessive talking and blah, blah, blah. He crafted his one-liners. He knew when to, just like his boxing, he knew when to deliver them. He knew how to put some sarcasm, some anger. You know what I'm saying? He knew how to, you know, it's just something that you can work on it until it becomes natural and you can just do it. But that was really business last night, man. That was the business of boxing, rearing its ugly little head again. You know what I'm saying? Saying, look at me. Look at me. You know, so I look at it like it's the irony of life for Tio, man. It's like it's the irony of life for him because just like everything, and it's just something that he's going through, man. This is life testing him and saying, look, man, yeah, you do this because he said, what did he say before the fight? He said in that interview on Cigar Talk, that's one of the best interviews I've seen, though. That one he did on Cigar Talk, one of the best interviews I've seen. He was real open and transparent, but he said, man, if you don't respect boxing, she'll disrespect you. You know what I'm saying? I call that a dose of your own little medicine there, guy. You know what I'm saying? It's a dose of your own little medicine. So I'm like, man, but he did say some deep things beforehand. Like I think because even in that interview, he talked about Ixnay on the Knicks name one time. Remember when I was saying about they wouldn't let me load that hashtag name on there. I talked about Aaron Hernandez and Felix Verdejo. I talked about these guys and all that. You know what I'm saying? I talked about all of that stuff that he addressed in it. So in a lot of ways, he is kind of playing the Joker. He is kind of, you know what I'm saying? But this time the joke was kind of on him. But just like everything else, man, I think if he go back to the lab, you know, I did hear a couple people say, man, maybe he need to introduce somebody into the camp. I've been saying, I said, man, if he could sit down, shut the fuck up, if Coach Cunningham would even take him on. He's the disciplinarian. He's the one who knows what's going on. He's the one that I think could work with that young man with the talents and gifts that he have and get him where he need to be. Because right now, he man, if he got in there with Bud looked like Poseidon in that motherfucker, man. He would look like Poseidon in there. Now, at first I was open to it. I'm like, man, we need that energy to rub off. It's like, nah, man. I T.O., you a good guy. I think you're a little immature sometimes. You're still growing. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was like 27. You know, I remember that, you know, a while ago. And you know, we all make our mistakes. We still growing, but I think he still got a little bit more maturing to do. And I think he got to be more deliberate and more focused. And I think they do need to bring somebody else into the camp, man. Somebody established, somebody well-known. Don't go hopping around like some people where they trying to get with, you know, just don't go hopping around. But you need to get somebody. Maybe somebody will reach out to you. You know, maybe somebody reach out to him and say, hey, look, man, I could help you. Like Antonio Tarver. Antonio Tarver be asking to help these young guys out, but they don't want to use him as a resource or a tool. You know what? It's just like in the NFL, I say when these guys, like as long as Jerry Rice and all them boys living, I be saying, what's up with these wide receivers, man? I said, man, all that bread they get, I would take some time when it's over with. I would call up Barry Sanders. I would call up Jerry Rice. I'd be like, hey, I got a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? I would call up somebody, Anquan Bolden, Larry Fitz. I would call these guys up, hey, man, you got time to work with me? Hey, look, work with me, man. Give me about a week, man. Tell me what I need to do. Dude, put some money back in. I'll be hitting up Antonio Tarver. Hey, man, what can you do, man? Can I sit down with you for about, can you look at me? Can you come in? How much is it for me to fly you out? You know what I'm saying? Show me how to do this, son. You know what I'm saying? He did that to my man. He had me looking like, man, I couldn't stand to see Roy get done because Roy was my guy. You couldn't tell me Captain Hook. You couldn't tell me he wasn't that guy. You know what I'm saying? And Tarver, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna take somebody like that, somebody where it's like, dang, how he was able to do that. I would be reaching out to Antonio Tarver. I'll be reaching out to Coach Kevin Cunningham. I'll be reaching out to Bread Man. I mean, he got a lot on his plate, but one of them guys, man, somebody that may be personality, but I think he need the more disciplinarian type. He don't need the kind that's just gonna let you do, you know what I'm saying? He need that drill sergeant. T.O. need that drill sergeant. Like in the Army, I had soldiers like that. Some soldiers need some soldiers need a drill sergeant. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that can deal with it, quick with it, that can motivate you, can build you up, break you down where you need to, build you back up, but you learn in the process. And I think that he got another step that he can go. He got another gear with all the assets he have. I don't think that he's really like taking full advantage. You know what I'm saying? Like instead of showing the watch, the blue face and all that, instead of being look at my watch, you should have knew what time it was when you got in there with Jamaine Ortiz. And I ain't gonna charge you nothing for that. I do that body work. I've been neglecting the chat, y'all, but I'm live tonight, man. I'm feeling good. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna take this and go a whole nother way with it. And I said, you know what? Let me go back from the top, y'all. I wasn't forgetting about y'all. Y'all know how I like to do. I like to get started and run it down. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go through it quick. Bear with me real quick. So Champion Sports Boxing was like, what's up? Melazar came in. I think people are more disappointed he don't call out Matias after complaining Ortiz was running. I think, but that's the politics of it all too. And that man needs some rest. I mean, Matias will kill that man right now, man. He ain't ready for that. I think he need to fight Regis. Teofimo Lopez and Regis need to get it on. They both need it. Teofimo Lopez and Regis. You're not gonna be trying to figure out where each other out. You ain't gonna need no GPS. Do that as a get back fight, a legit name. See what would have happened if you would have fought Regis instead of Josh Taylor, since the Josh Taylor and Regis was so close. And Regis is coming off a bad performance. And I heard him chiming in, but get Teofimo Lopez, holler at Regis. You're not ready. Matias will knock Teofimo's dick in the dust right now. Like straight up. I thought Ortiz gave a boxing lesson. I was entertained. Cocaine, yeah. I was entertained too. I was like, people were just shitting on Jamaine. I'm like, man, that dude box excellent. I was like, man, Jamaine, you ain't got nothing to hold your head down about, brother. I just hate that you keep getting slighted, man. But like, just separate yourself. Take a chance, man. You got to take a chance. When you got that kind of style, I think if you just took a little bit more chances, man, you just took one or two more chances, man. Because if you would have dropped that man or really damaged his psyche a little bit more, man, he put on the clinic to me. I don't take nothing away from Jamaine Ortiz. And T.O. is one of my guys. So, do you think Bill showed him that? Absolutely. Bill showed him that strategy. He just did it from the southpaw stance. And that's the only reason why I would still want to see T.O. and Devin, because why Jamaine was so effective is because he did that from the southpaw stance. I don't know how successful, even though that's a very successful strategy now. I see how Devin would use that on T.O. just because his power hand wouldn't be there. I don't know. But I think that he was more effective because he was in the southpaw stance. You know what I'm saying? And I think if T.O. would have went southpaw with him and took a chance, made an adjustment, since, you know, I didn't see any adjustments coming from his father. I mean, his father got him. They good at what they do. Can't deny what they do. But I didn't see him make any adjustments. And that's what I was getting to, Melazar. Maybe I'm mad because Ortiz called for a KO and said, bet on my KO. I did. Yeah. Hey, I could show y'all. I had my 3-card WAP, man. I had a but y'all know, people who was there last night, man. I had a 3-leg parlay where I had Abdullah Mason stopping his guy, Keyshawn Davis stopping this guy, and Teofimo Lopez stopping his guy. And goddamn, the clown said, "Oink, oink." I just put like $10 down. I put 10 down and I would have got 105 back. You know what I'm saying? I don't be wanting nothing. I just be wanting to pay for my little shit that I do online with this shit just so it pay for itself and I ain't coming out of pocket. That's why that's all that's for. But he messed up my 3-leg parlay, man. I was playing 3-card Molly. Abdullah showed up. Keyshawn showed up. And Teofimo. Womp, womp, womp. Keyshawn was flawless. Pedraza put pressure and Keyshawn kept his ground and got a stoppage. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I wanted to see from Key. I'm happy, man. His stock gonna go up because now a couple people won last night. See, when you talk all that shit, you made a couple people win last night. Bud won because he was looking prophetic. You made Bud look prophetic. Somehow Devin Haney, he won because T.O. looked bad. Everybody credited, and building them one for being able to enact that strategy, employ that strategy through Jamaine. He won, but Jamaine didn't win. I think, Jamaine, I still give you credit, man. I still give you credit, man. I know that pay jump up a little bit more when you actually get the dub, but, I just take more chances. And everybody he talked shit about won last night. Keyshawn won because they had that little pre-thing they had going on. So he made Bud look prophetic. He made Keyshawn look too scary, even though Keyshawn ain't at 40 yet. And then he also made Devin look good. Because they, everybody clowning. Transport say no action. Yeah. T.O. had to cut the ring off. It was, he had to. He had to, and he just couldn't. And that's something we've seen from him. I would go get with Antonio Tarver, man. And I like how Antonio Tarver be talking that boxing. I say I agree about 97% about what Tarver be saying, man. I agree with him, and he passionate. I don't know why he don't got a bunch of these young boys trying to get with him and see what's going on. I'll be picking his brain. He got some stuff that he could be telling you. It's a couple guys that could reach out. Go get with Coach Kevin Cunningham. Make those adjustments. Invest instead of investing into all this other stuff that you say. If you still gonna be boxing, invest into some advanced training. It make no, like when Tank Fort Ryan, he brought Kenny Porter in there. Because Kenny Porter was saying, man, maybe, they be saying Tank be down on rounds and this, he said that's the narrative. He said, have you ever thought about employing some things to where you can kind of ambush him? And he brought in somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta order some exotic. You know what I'm saying? You gotta order you some exotic. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta spin that thing around. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta catch that thing, You just gotta be different. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can read between the lines. Teofilo es un loro si lo coge Matias lo mata. Somebody got to translate that for me. The scorecard was too crazy. If it was tied or wasn't that big of a gap, maybe people would not be outraged. I could have lived with a draw. Because I understand the business and how if you want to employ the whole, you got to take it from the chair. All these things that people encompass in that. Either way, my eyeball saw Ortiz winning that fight. But because of business and all that, I understand what was going on. But they could have, you know what I'm saying? They could have, what they say is like kissing your cousin. They could have gave the draw. It's like, they could have gave the draw. I think everybody could have walked away, but putting another loss on Jamaine. I think the way I put it is Jamaine did more than enough to not lose that fight. And I don't know if Teofimo Lopez did enough to win the fight. Therefore, I could see a draw. I could see a draw. I could see a draw. I would have lived with that. I could have lived with that. You know what I'm saying? I think it would have been a whole different conversation. It'd have been like, oh no, whether they're gonna run it back, if they, could have talked spicy, you know what I'm saying? They probably could have got that back on again. Hell, put on a rematch, put Teofimo Lopez and Teofimo Lopez and light-skinned Jamaine on the same card as Shakur Stevenson and De Los Santos. Make them all run it back. Find out who's who. The winners fight the winners and the losers fight the losers. If you want to get down, keep it all nice and simple. Well, how much math do that take to figure out? But I'm a solution-oriented individual, you know what I'm saying? Bubs Boxing. Yeah, this was a tough call. Salute, Bubs. GX TV, salute King Body Work. What's going on, GX? I ain't seen you in a minute, man. Let's see. Where am I? All right, hold on. I'm way behind. Dang, I'm way behind. Okay, all right, here we go. Champ was laughing. I guess I was saying something that was laughing. Teofimo need a new corner. He need to add something to it. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of sentimental. And plus, that's probably a source of income for Pops. I don't know. I think he making more since he's showing us all this money, all this bling bling, and how much you got. Some of that can go into adding somebody else. You don't want to have too many chefs, but maybe if you take a step aside or in addition to what you're doing on a regular basis, maintain that, take a pause, and go and spend 2 weeks doing this with them. I think them MMA guys do that, man. Like when them guys, when they all like ground and pound or they're really strikers, they'll go, see somebody, and work jiu-jitsu or whatever you call it. They'll go do that and go work on their grappling skills. They'll go spend a special time to get stronger in that area. Teofimo needs to work on his enter and exit strategies. He don't have them. He don't know how to get in. You could just slam the door on him because he's gonna try to go in the same way. He ain't gonna never try to come in through the window. He gonna try to come straight in the door and bang. As soon as he go in, bang. It's like that kid that you gonna keep hitting your head on that, man, or you gonna back up and go around, man. What you gonna do? Bud said, I told you to focus on your fight instead of me. Yeah, that's tough. Teofimo crying about Ortiz. Imagine how much he cries against Devin. Yeah. I'm wondering how that fight, I still don't know, but yeah, I think Devin got a lot more confidence seeing that, man. And it made Teo arms look even shorter, even though there really was no difference in the reach. I do think Teo looked a little small. Teo looked a little small, man. So I don't even know if going to 47 would even be good, because I don't even think he's gonna be able to put it on and would he gonna be slower? He gonna be slower. He gonna be bigger, but he gonna be slower moving up. I don't know, man. He in a tricky spot. He better go get some of that specialty training. You know what I'm saying? But you pretty much got all this, but you need the garnishments. You need the subtleties. And and he also said that Floyd, because he was, talking about how him and Floyd were talking. This is Teo. Talking about how him and Floyd were talking, right? He said, yeah, you good. He said, but you got a lot to learn. And he was like, yeah, Floyd is saying, and it's still competitive. And they got a little thing, but Floyd, it was very profound. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we listen, but we don't hear. We listen, but we don't hear. And I don't think he heard what Floyd was really telling him. Floyd complimented him saying, yeah, you pretty good, but you still got a lot to learn. And Teo took it as, oh yeah, Floyd competitive. Yeah, he complimented me. He's saying I got a lot to learn. I know everybody got a lot to learn. Like, no, you specifically have a lot to learn, and somebody need to show you those little things, man. And that's another thing, man. These guys put that on film, man. There's too much film on these guys. That's another reason why my guys, I ain't gonna lie, I go for the knockout. I go for them guys that can knock you out. I go for them guys that can end the contest. They're not going to get it every time, but that's what they're aiming to do. They're not going to be judged. They're not going to sit up there and let a judge render a score like that. Y'all remember that live I did when I said, when it was towards the end, I said, yeah, the only thing I got to say, man, is look, do not leave it up to the judges, man. Jamaine Ortiz if leaving it up to the judges was in the dictionary, you would see Jamaine Ortiz right there. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to leave it up to the judges, man. We should be able to. We should be able to. Like, you know how in the NFL, when they got somebody from New York that's looking down and saying, oh, no, that's up from the tower, they said, nah. They need somebody like that overseeing it. Yeah. But if leaving it up to the judges was in the dictionary or in the encyclopedia, Jamaine Ortiz would be like, him and Devin Haney, nah, man, you can't do that, because when there's politics involved, you ain't going to get the call. Stop me when I'm lying. Teofimo couldn't give Ortiz that body work to slow down Ortiz. That's what I said. He couldn't even get in close. And the thing is, his power hand was back here. His power hand had to go the furthest distance, and he don't have the longest arms. That's just basic. I never went amateur. I never did. That's just basic. That's just knowing boxing. Like, your power hand's coming all the way from back here. He went to keep the southpaw, to keep a hand in your face and since you come in without no guard up, he went southpaw. So as soon as you come in, it was like he had a key. As soon as you get past, that was it. He was just gonna shut the door on you. As soon as you get your momentum, because you wasn't being creative with your work. Go get with Teddy Atlas. I'm sure Teddy will come out. I'm sure Teddy will come. I'm sure if that bread, you know what I'm saying, if it's enough, so he could take, you know what I'm saying, a week or two away and just sit down and work with you, man. Go get with Teddy. Go get with one of these guys, man. I don't understand why some of these guys, they'll go buy all this expensive stuff, but go get with some of these guys, man, and figure out, like, hey, man, can you show me? What can you do? Holler at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, holler at me, get me right. Reinvest in yourself in that manner. Because that shit, if you invest in yourself in that manner, they say what you appreciate appreciates. So if you appreciate yourself, you will appreciate. And some of them guys, they've been dealing with young people, young talent, aggressive talent, testosterone. So they know how to get a message across in a certain kind of way. They're not going to be trying to coddle your feelings and all that, but they are effective in their seasoning, how they can actually get it through, because they've been doing it for so long. They know those keys to tell you. They know how to break it down and say less words, but really tell you that sweet science. Teddy is one of them. I threw out a whole bunch of names, but, man, T.O. got some options and what he can do to get better, man, to fix those little problems that he got. Body work. Cocaine. What up, body work, PR boxing? Yeah, man. The 300 is in the building. Body work, I guarantee you, Teofimo Sr. didn't have Teofimo Lopez do sparring with southpaws. When Ortiz went southpaw, I can tell Lopez was already off balance. He was already off balance. He kept saying, how I'm going to get in there? And he kept doing the same thing. That's why that's what people start saying, ring IQ. It's like ring IQ. That's all Bud had to say with ring IQ. Like, once you show that you ain't got the IQ to be able to figure out, like, okay, hold on. He went southpaw to do this. Well, what if I went southpaw? Then he thinking about, because he don't know how well I am in southpaw. He was trying to fight me southpaw when I'm in the orthodox stance, because as soon as I come in the door, he gonna slam the door on me. But what if I switch that up? Like, recognition. Like, some people have been doing it so long. I think Tank is one of them. He's been doing it for so long that he might not be consciously thinking it, but he's looking, and he's been in experience. He know position and angles. He's already saying, all right, this is what I know. This is what I know what to do. I gotta be able to dip like this when I move here. If I put pressure there, like, they already know it because they've been doing it. Just like running that rock on that football field. Like, that's how I related. I didn't box, but running that rock on that football field. I knew if I was going at this angle and I was already past them, if I stopped it, like it's just weird because in motion, you're not thinking about it, but you've done it so much that you already know what it's going to take for you to get there. And that's IQ, man. I think the IQ, not saying he has a bad IQ, it's just that people are not going to perceive his IQ to be on an Einstein level with the greats. Because if you want to be up there with Floyd had an excellent IQ. He could think faster. He could process faster along with them reflexes. A half Puerto Rican beat Tio, his first Puerto Rican, and he lost to him. That's why I say, hey, sometimes we put our foot in our mouth, man. We say things, but that's humble pie. Hot and fresh. Delivered by light-skinned Jamaine. I ain't no light-skinned Jamaine delivered humble pies. Man, that dude Verdejo shaking my head. Yeah, man. Trying to tell y'all, man, these boxes, man, you know. Koki, F up. Yep, that was messed up. He was supposed to be the next best thing from PR. Dude totally ruined his life and destroyed it. I know. Like, yeah. He was on the rise. Biggest disappointment for me since the Knicks choked against the Rockets. Dang. T.O. need to stay away from Bud and Matias. Yeah. He need to go get Regis. I'll go get Regis, man. You know what that price tag is for Regis. We know what he did last time. He coming off a loss. You know, he need a name. You know what I'm saying? He is, even though he lost twice, he's still a name. You know, he lost to Devin Haney, who's making his bones. So, you know, and I would go if I was T.O., I'll go get Regis. You know what I'm saying? I would go holler at Regis. They need each other right now. I think that'd be a good fight. I don't know what Regis got going on. That's what he needs. A Tarver in his corner. CSB, they already got T.O. blueprint. That's a good one. Regis versus Teofimo. Champion sports boxing. He just had to a little more. Yeah, that separation. I think that's back when I was talking about that separation. I think the cut changed his game plan, and he had to stay away and take a risk. Yeah, he looked small, man. Did T.O. look small to y'all? He looked small to me, man. I'm like, man, don't go up there with Bud. I'm telling you, you gonna look like Poseidon out that motherfucker, boy. He gonna actually have your ass on the motherfucking a trident. Nah, Matias need to fight Hitches. So all the people that think Matias don't got a chance to be undisputed with those type of styles, so they could shut up for once and for all. Yeah. Yeah, I want to see that fight too. I want to see him against. Yeah, I want to see him against that style. But see, now I'm starting to see that business-wise, it's some styles that I want to see that for business-wise, they're never going to put them together. Like, I want to see Devin and Richardson Hitchens. I want to see, and now I want to see Shakur and I want to see Jamaine Ortiz. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Devin and De Los Santos. And De Los Santos will go up to 140. I think that, you know, but I want to see, I really want Matias to do his thing. He gonna grab the bull by the horn. He gonna grab the bull by the horn. That was all Bill. T.O. didn't expect that. Yeah. Matias versus Ortiz can be good for Matias if he stopped Ortiz's legs. T.O. won that fight. Robot. Draw. Champ Sports Box said facts. A high-level championship fight, you have to take it from a fighter, not tip, tap, and run. I mean, if we didn't know all of that, this is the key question, right? This is the key question. Like, yeah, that's part of the culture. Now you talking like that's some hardcore talk. That's hardcore as we know it. But if you sit down with some people that can actually fight, they don't call fights, they're not all into it like us, they're not addicted to boxing and all that, but they can fight, and they've seen plenty of boxing. When they sit down and they just look at it, because let's just say this is the key question. If we sat down beforehand and you didn't know that T.O. had the title, and you didn't know that Jamaine Ortiz had the title, you're telling me that Jamaine Ortiz would have won that fight. When in all actuality, what our eyeballs seen was Jamaine Ortiz won that fight. He just didn't do enough to take from the champion on some hardcore shit, is what y'all saying. But at the end of the day, our eyeballs seen Jamaine Ortiz win that fight. Cookie Monster. Hey, body work. What's going on, Cookie Monster? Melazar Conseba. Garfield is back. People need to understand that to win a champion, you have to do convincing. Yeah, you got to be convincing. That's why I say he needed to take chances. You know what I'm saying? He needed to take chances. So I'm not going to argue. We can't do nothing as fans anyway. We can't do nothing about it. The way Matias don't let the decision to, yeah, Matias take it out the judge's hands. Coach say Gary A. Russell deserves a fight. Absolutely. I can't wait for him to come back, man. I think, look, the Super Bowl's in what? The Super Bowl's in 2 days. After the Super Bowl, we can get all the news. So hang in there, y'all. Hang in there. We're going to get all the good news after the Super Bowl. That week after the Super Bowl, they're going to be like, this one fighting this. It's going to be on fire. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned in. It's going to be on fire after that Super Bowl. The most funny part, Teofimo called Super one-dimensional. Who was one-dimensional last night? That's why I say, man, the tongue. You know what I'm saying? They say the tongue, man, it's like those little, so small, but can destroy a whole ship. Oh, man, Lopez relies too much on his athleticism. Exactly. Floyd, Whitaker, and Camacho were athletic but had high IQ. Exactly. Exactly. I just want everybody to keep the same energy on these other fighters. Because remember what y'all said. Remember what happened with that Boots fight? Y'all remember what happened with that Shakur and De Los Santos fight, and now we got this fight, and how everybody looking at it. And I don't think that them fights were the same in a sense, but that whole, oh, he can't cut off the ring stuff and all that, we're going to keep applying that. So when we see somebody cut off the ring, like Jesse Bam Rodriguez, as young as that young man is, that's why I call him the mechanic. Because if it's a problem in that ring, he's going to make an adjustment and fix it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen him do it. He will cut the ring off on you. He know how to use his legs. Go get with a Robert Garcia. Go down there and figure out some of them things, some of them tactics that Bam be using. You know, I mean, you gotta have those feet, but it's you got options, man. You got options, but that athleticism, that's gonna go away. Roy taught us that. Even though I think Roy had a high IQ and athleticism, I think that he started to depend on his athleticism too much. That's very true. T.O. should get Regis. Yeah. I've seen Matias make adjustments in fights. Yes, he has. He got a punch variety. I see his punch. I see what he do. He got, I ain't gonna put him out there, you know what I'm saying? Because who am I to do your homework for you? You know what I'm saying? That's just more material for me when it comes down to the breakdown. You know what I'm saying? I see what he be doing though. I've been watching him. I wish Regis would fight Matias. I'll take Regis over Paro. I think Paro got the better buzz because Regis is coming off that performance with Devin. And Paro, yeah, he's coming off injury, but he had a good win over Love. So I think it's right for that. I think it's right. I think he's right. He needs to go ahead and get that Paro out the way. Let Regis come back and do his thing. And if Regis put somebody, if he get a body and get a win, Matias is going to holler at him after that, especially if it's Matchroom. Because if he's still with Matchroom, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. But we don't know what Matias. I'm still waiting to see what Matias is going to do. Regis owes Matias a fight. Because they were talking cash money. Hey, but Matias been said he was going to send him to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? He said that early. I was like, yikes. Then bang. Hey, Koki, you here too. We was chatting the other day. Ben bang. Salute. Welcome to the 300. Terrence say Ortiz won. What are you talking about? Welcome, Ben. Golden Boxing Era did an interview in English with Matias. Coach, really good one. You should watch it. All right, I'm gonna check that out, Ghost. Salute, Ghost. Coming in the building. Yeah, Ghost. We was in here calling it last night. I was hurting this morning on my way to work, boy. I said I can't wait to get home and talk about this shit. I had to lay down, y'all. I had to get some rest. I had to get up at like 4 something this morning, but it was good. It was good. Yo, go dropping out on the channel. Yeah, I saw him too. I be seeing him too. I don't say nothing because I don't be saying nothing, but I be watching. I be seeing. I was like, look at him, man. Look, I'll be like, look at Coach Key out here doing that body work, man. He be out here doing that body work too, man. He be dropping bammers. He be in the trap. Why you be out there dropping bammers in chats, Coach Key? I gotta watch you. I just seen you drop a couple bammers, a couple people in different chats, man. I'll be like, dang. Nova versus Oshaki Foster should be a good one. I got Oshaki, man. I don't know about Nova, man. I think that chin been that chin. What they say, his button been pushed. I think his button been pushed, man. I think Nova's button been pushed, man. Oshaki just got it. That's another dude that I think now Oshaki can fight orthodox or southpaw. I like Oshaki when he's more aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like I think sometimes he'll kind of like wait a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I like Oshaki when he's a little bit more aggressive. He's tough to deal with. Oshaki nice. I think I said what's up to him. I don't know. I was trying to holler at him on the gram one time, but I don't know, man. I think these guys, man, I'm trying to get in there, man. I think these guys are accounted for. You gotta be down with the program, man. And I don't got no program, man. I seen people making some crazy accusations to justify that BS yesterday. Even called his own. Oh man. I heard a lot of stuff, man. I'm sitting there like, man, when does the sensational of YouTube, when does the sensationalism of YouTube ever run out? You know what I'm saying? I was like, when does it ever run out? Yeah, man. But yeah, man, I wanted to do this show, man, because I think that Abdullah Mason, man, he's getting the recognition that he deserves. Keyshawn created a separation, and even though I see him going to 40, I don't think he should be going after T.O. just yet. You know what I'm saying? Because you still got some people in and around. You got some people like, I don't know, man. It's kind of funny what's going on right now, because unless it's best laid plans and they already told these guys who they are going to fight or who they're not going to be able to fight, there's some maneuvering going around. That's why I said, man, I think, am I right in saying that every boxer got a boogeyman? I'm starting to think every boxer got a boogeyman now, man. I think every boxer got somebody that they ain't really just trying to jump in there, you know what I'm saying, and get it on with, you know what I'm saying, like that. How can you as men sit there and justify someone crying because he knows he lost? He was having a mental breakdown before the scorecard. Yeah, that's what I said. He was crying. You know what I'm saying? You can see it, and you can't hide that, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I guess the politics, you have all these big channels coming in, because they, it's a lot of friends out here. It's a lot of friends. Like, it's like a whole bunch of, the boxing community are like them little beanie babies. Y'all remember them beanie babies? Y'all remember them little beanie babies, them pound puppies? They just want to sit around and echo the same shit and be one big family and shit. I'm like, man, y'all, this is not boxing no more. Well, Sharky got power too. Sharky do got power. T.O. is too technical, or tries to be. Need to get on that Aaron Pryor style. But for that, you better be hard and willing to do or die. I don't think his chin is all like that either, man. I don't think T.O. chin is like that either, man. I don't think his chin like that. Abdullah Mason got some real fast hands. Remind me of Zab Judah hands. Yeah, he can strike. He can strike. For him to be southpaw and hit him with that lead left hook like that in the side of the head, and Buddy, by the time he hit him, he was already like, it was done. He already did the sweet science on him. As soon as he hit him, he was so surprised. He hit him. That signal just ain't had to travel, but from like where the impact was to the brain, and the leg said, get down. We just got hit with some shit, cuz. They sent the signal down to them knees and was like, get down. Get down. And then you got the actual force, you know what I'm saying, that he hit him with. That's sweet signs, boy. I love when people can do it. T.O. looked like the clown from the circus he brought. It's the irony of life. He called himself a clown. He talked all that stuff beforehand. How you come out on the other side, or how he performed and all that. Now, if he would have came out and sparked Jamaine, everybody was saying he was a genius. But that's what happened, man. A big portion of a clown, man, is sometimes is self-abuse. Like a clown to hurt himself just to get a laugh. You know what I'm saying? So, but then a clown can make a lot of people laugh. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. There's a lot of symbology on that, man. That's why I had to stay in that vein. I wanted to close out this clown business and give a solution, because this is a solution-oriented channel. You know what I'm saying? And the solution is, I would go back to the lab, holler at one of these Tarver, Coach Cunningham, Robert Garcia. He probably can't get. I'll holler at one of these specialty guys, and I'll go holler at Regis. Like, hey, Regis, let's do this. Here we go. They're going to look at Tio like he came off a loss, even though he was granted that decision. That before the 12th round, whisper in his ear. What did he do? Came out hella aggressive. I bet he said what we said. You need a KO. Remember when we said it, though. See, Ghost, I'm glad you came back, man. I'm glad you came back. Because remember when we were looking at it, we had been, man, that was before, that was well before. Well, he needed that. Yeah, we said that, but I had been said, we had scored it to such the way he had been needed a knock. He had been needed either several knockdowns or a knockout. But we didn't say that we said that before going into the 12th. But we had said that a little bit earlier. We had already saw that gap was wide, man. That gap was wide, man. I don't know how people are judging. They using the judging criteria and playing politics, play words with friends and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be nobody's friend based on philosophies or how you score and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going by what my eyeball seen. And light-skinned Jamaine did enough to win that fight. I understand the business and all that. He did enough. He did enough, but they wasn't gonna give it to him because he didn't snatch it from the champion. He was making excuses before the scorecard, like, I got a lot of haters. They don't support me. Like, dude, the fight just finished. We can see in your face you don't believe you won. And the only reason why I'm really going to double down on this clown business is because, once again, it was like I stopped making videos about T.O. when he said, you know, the stuff about Tank when he was like with those DSLs. I was like, first of all, why are you talking like that, bro? Second of all, like, you know you're gonna have to back that up one day. Like, you know you're gonna have to eat those words one day. And I think that some things are overboard, man. When you start calling females names and you start getting like that, like when Stop. That's you know, you don't invite a man to your private part or even insinuate or look at a man with those insinuations. But if you do, then that means, you know what that means. That means you want it. You know what I'm saying? That means when I see you, you know what I'm saying, because you put that out there. When I see you, that's what that really means. But at the end of that thing, man, when he said that to his fans, man, when he told the fans SMD, man, you can SMD. I said, see, clown business. That's clown business. And as much as people like you, man, like, you can't do that, man. That's why I say the young adder spits too much venom. He still got some maturing to do. You still gonna have fans, but you gotta know how to talk to your fans, man. Floyd would have never. Now he might have told Larry Merchant something, you know what I'm saying, the way Larry Merchant used to hate on him. But Floyd would have never looked at his fans and said SMD. That's why Floyd said, hey, young adder, you got a lot to learn, young brother. You know what I'm saying? 2 ears, 1 mouth, T.O. We got 2 ears and 1 mouth, T.O. I think that should have been the thoughts after that experience, you know what I'm saying? But that circus show, though. Yeah, Ghost. I'm glad you putting that in. Yeah, it was like around 8 when we said he needed that. Yeah, because we was on it. We was like, oh, man, this ain't looking. We was calling it, man. Don't let them gaslight you, man. Don't be inside of a society because y'all all like to what y'all like to do? Y'all like to like melt marshmallows and shit and sit around campfires. Nah, we like to watch that boxing, dog. We gonna talk about this boxing, dog. That circus show, though. Yeah. Top ring matchmaking need to give opponent who will make T.O. look good. This wasn't a mandatory. T.O. have a crime face, but he's not a killer. It's just a face. Bars. All the import. Man, that was some bars right there. T.O. got a crime face, but he's not a killer. It's just a face. I believe they gave T.O. punches that he landed on the gloves. He didn't land anything all night. And normally I'll be on them CompuBox, but them numbers was suspect, bro. I'm like, man, y'all gonna give it to us like that all the way around? Y'all just gonna, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna lube it up or nothing. You just gonna give it to us like that, like all the way around. It's like them numbers was shady, man. Them numbers, I don't know, man. Once I seen that circus, I knew it was going to be a long night, man. They had the bearded lady out there. They had the dude eating the swords. It was a whole circus. T.O. came through like a clown. But I still like T.O., man. I still think he got a good future, man. There's just some things he got to do. Facts. How you treat the people that paid to see you like that? Yeah, you can't say that, man. But it just shows, man, that he was hurt. He was hurt. He thought he was about to lose it all. That's why I gave that message, man. If they would have lost it all, man, that man got a fragile. He's fragile right now, man. That man fragile as a pair of eggs right now. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Also, champ. These so-called men out here with channel be talking about their favorite fighters in a way that is just weird for men behavior. I be man, look, I stopped commenting on it, man. I stopped even putting my little 2 cents out there, man, because some of the stuff that people say, and it changes. It changes depending on what clique you with, because I know there's a whole lot of people that like Bud. When it come down to Shakur, they always got Shakur's side on it. It's like, man, you gotta separate these boxers and the things that's going on. You can't just be, because you rock with Shakur, you're gonna be all things Bud. It's like, no, Bud got his own thing going. and elements around that, good and bad. Shakur got his own thing, elements around that, good and bad. Devin got their own good and bad, but it's like there are cliques and tribes, and Lord forbid, when it comes to a certain person, man, it's like it's just blatant. When people talk about people, it's like because they don't want to rupture a portion of their fan base. Like they got fans, so they don't want to say anything to drive somebody away. Like me, I have no problem with telling you the truth about Devin. I have no problem. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you that he won me over after the Regis. I'll tell you that he won me over after the Regis fight. Give him credit for it. I give him full credit for what he did to Regis. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the fights that I actually wanted him to take. He actually did it. He performed. His father talked that shit beforehand. He went out there and he performed. He did what he needed to do. Now, I want him to do Matias. But when it comes down to Regis, I give you full respect. I can also tell you that outside of that, they're some of the most toxic people in the sport. And I have no problem with a Devin only fan not wanting to be here because you don't like the truth. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with telling you that Teofimo Lopez should have never told his fans SMD. You should have never looked at Tank and said that you can't never look at another man as a straight man and say that a man got some DSLs. It's like, okay. There's certain things that we just like, we shouldn't be wearing nail polish and wearing like female handbags. I have no problem with being able to say that. That don't mean I don't rock with all these guys in some shape, form, or fashion. I'm just gonna keep it all the way 10 times 10 with you. There ain't no other way. And for me, I don't want to roast marshmallows with you or go to the family picnic. I just want to talk this boxing. You know what I'm saying? We just want to talk this boxing. We don't care about all that. We don't have man crushes and all that kind of stuff, man. My mouth didn't even want to say that just now. Teofimo had that Honduras mentality, speaks American English. To me, in my opinion, Teo should really have 3 L's: Cambosa, Sandor, Ortiz, all bias aside. Yeah, because when you look at Jamaine Ortiz, some say he should have had Loma. So between Loma and Teo, Jamaine Ortiz, between them, I don't care. Between them two, he should have a Vic. But if leaving it to the judges' scorecard was in the dictionary or the encyclopedia, you're gonna see Jamaine Ortiz and Devin Haney. You gotta take it out the judges' hands, baby. Gotta make them adjustments and pull a Keyshawn, pull a Abdullah Mason, get your tank on, pull a Bud. You know what I'm saying? In the show. In Puerto Rico, channel Teofimo being crucified, and the Mexican channel, they are going more easy on Teofimo. Yeah, and that's that where mailers that's that I don't like the rock'em sock'em, but a lot of people, and I'm starting to see the judges kind of like that, because in that fight, what's the criteria that they actually gave? What's the biggest criteria that they actually gave Teofimo Lopez the nod in? What did they give him so much credit for, to where, especially that one, what was that 117? Look, the 117, 111. The 117, 111. Like what 117, 111, where was Teo? What did they grade Teo? Now let's go over it. We know the 4 scoring criteria. What criteria would allow them to look at a fight like that and say that Teofimo blew Jamaine Ortiz out 117, 111? Because he was the aggressor? That's really the only thing I can reason. Because people was giving him credit for defense for doing all that extra. A couple times he got clipped, he had his poker face. Because if you look at him, his face was taking a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? It was getting some work. But that's what got me, man. Then the 115, 113. I don't get that. I don't know, man. You know, that's something that's something we can talk about. But we keeping it, you know what I'm saying? We got our history down. We keeping track of all the events and everything that's going on. So sometimes I think T.O. should hire a Paul brother to run his campaign, because if you really think about it, he acts like a New Yorican. That's why that's his biggest followers, but he insulted PR like, bro. You gotta have it's I think they call it cultural sensitivity training. And you just gotta know like where you wanna go and what you're trying to do. You gotta keep that in mind. But I guess when you're on top of the world, you get hit in the head, you just like, I live however. I know he talk about censorship a lot, but I think that he wants to kind of, you do this when you're young, where you learn something and you can't wait to go out and regurgitate it to sound a lot more, but you don't really understand. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when we say people know the letter of the law, but not the spirit behind it. Like a lot of people, when they talk about stuff in the word, they talk about it. It's like, yeah, you know the scripture, but you don't know the spirit behind it. Yeah. You know all the scriptures. Whether I'm bound or I'm a babe, I've learned to be content in whatever state I'm in. Oh, yeah. You can recite that. But that means whether it's hot dogs and beans, or that top sirloin or filet mignon, I've learned to be content in whatever state I'm in. Whether I'm sleeping on an air mattress or sleeping in the Waldorf Astoria, I've learned to be content in whatever state I'm in. Like once you know the spirit behind that, it's a wrap. But a lot of people like to learn and regurgitate, so you try to sound wise and you quote all these things. You quote Nietzsche and Buddha and Bruce Lee and Floyd, and you got to get the spirit behind what they saying. Settle down and know your fan base. Your fan base can be anybody. Your fan base can be somebody that come across one of your interviews and like what you're doing. Your fan base could be somebody that come across, you know, what's going on in the ring and like what you're doing. You know, like you got to know better. You got to be thinking big, because you're talking business, but you're not thinking business. Hey, bro, you saw the scorecards on Twitter? No, I ain't been on Twitter. I don't even have Twitter. That 117 with the card blow everyone mind. 115 and 113 isn't that bad. Yeah, 115, 113 isn't that bad. But 117, 111 for T.O., I think that was just the like, I don't know, man. 117, 111. You know, we know the politics, man. We know what's going on, but it's interesting where he's going to go and what's going to happen now. You know, I know that Devin Haney's stock rose a little bit after that. I would say he would get up for a tank fight. T.O. would get up for a tank fight, but man, if he didn't look like food before, he definitely looking like food, because regardless of what y'all want to say about Tank, what anybody want to say about him, man, that dude can make adjustments, and he has a ring IQ that's off the charts, and he's the most accurate power puncher in the game. He don't have the longest arms either, so it's an IQ that goes along with how he's able to use that speed, that power, and that timing all at once to be that explosive and be the best at it right now. He's number 5 in the plus minus overall. right now. Don't get no credit for defense. But it's all in what, I guess it's all, I'm starting to learn that a lot of times it's all in what we want in a fight. It's all in what we want in the fight. Like when we looking at these fights, right? And I'm seeing like when we watch the fights, right? And then at the end, when the judgment is rendered, I'm seeing that, man, these judges, they prefer the aggressor. Whether they're effective or not, they prefer the aggressor. So if you're gonna be a matador, you gotta do it like Bivol. You gotta be surgical. You gotta do it like Floyd. You gotta be accurate. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be accurate. You gotta make it look like everything you do, you might not do much, but when you do, it gotta be exaggerated. And I think that's what Floyd used to do. Because if he made you miss, he gonna make you pay. Even when he stopped knocking people out, it looks almost like embarrassing. It's humiliating the way he would do it. And every time, if you try this, I'm gonna do this again. If you try that, I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna make you pay. Every time. But that take time, man. That took more time actually practicing and mastering it and developing it and watching for your keys and being comfortable and knowing, you know what I'm saying, okay, how am I gonna get out of this? How am I gonna do this? All right, what I'm gonna work out on this? You know what I'm saying? Being patient. I gotta go. Peace, man, Lazar. Thanks for coming through as always, bro. Thanks for your support, man. Thanks for the convo. Be safe out there. Man, the state of boxing, man, they saying that you know, this Devin and Ryan thing is gonna go ahead, you know, which is what we know. That's what Devin really wanted. You know what I'm saying? That's what Devin really wanted. Whether Ryan wants him or whether Ryan's, you know, I don't know. I think Ryan, you know, this fight is going to probably tell us a lot about where Ryan at, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that Devin going to get it. Maybe that fight can do some numbers, you know what I'm saying, which will lead us to more than just talking about this Tank stuff, because, you know, I'm tired of talking about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for that fight. I've been ready for that fight to get over with, but I think that him getting Ryan, I guess, would be in a good step in a direction to be able to get a Tank and a Devin eventually, if it's ever going to happen. As far as Matias, man, I gotta go back and watch this video, or if you can, send me a link. Send me the interview. Send me the interview if you out there. Send me the interview. Y'all know my Send me the link for the Matias interview. I gotta do a new video anyway. It's about that time. About that time for me to drop some more of that. I got a little something in there. I'm already been working on something, but about time for me to drop another Matias video, man. We gotta stay on their ass, y'all, don't we? But they don't want that smoke. Send me that if you can. Send me that link to that Matias interview on my Gmail. Ghost body work. If you notice, everyone that gave T.O. problems with countering in the inside with short hooks and uppercuts, and the boxers that just roll up. Yeah. They kept saying that, man. I heard somebody saying that earlier. But I was kind of proud of Jamaine, man. I said Jamaine needed to be patient. He needed to stick to his game plan. He needed to just be, you know, he needed to commit to it. And I give it to him. I salute Jamaine, light-skinned Jamaine. I give you, hey, you were a technician last night, buddy. You know what I'm saying? That's the link, bro. Let me know if it works. All right, I'm gonna get on it. But let me wrap this up real quick. Devin and we got Devin and Ryan. They saying that's gonna go down. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We don't know, but that's what they saying. I seen something from the Zone saying it. So Devin and Ryan, we looking for Matias. We looking for Matias to come through. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna check out this interview. I think Teo should get Regis. Teo should get Regis, and I'm thinking we waiting until after the Super Bowl when the news come out with the Amazon Prime and the rollout and all that. You know what I'm saying? But salute to Keyshawn Davis for creating that separation. Salute to Abdullah Mason. Them boys, man. If T.O. didn't let me down last night, you know what I'm saying? I'd made me a little $100. I would have made me a little $100. You know what I'm saying? But I wound up losing 10. No harm, no foul, man. I wasn't even upset about not winning the bread. I was more upset that they didn't give Jamaine that win, man. Cause I know what that means for boxers, man. That's gonna be your paycheck. Don't be as much. They start looking at you like, oh, you're gonna be. Remember I said this in that pre-fight video? You don't want to be the one that's getting passed around at 140 because you get passed around to the wrong, you know what I'm saying? You get tossed in the wrong lap, it's a wrap. I heard some news about Elvis Rodriguez, man, and how he was saying something that they were saying something about how he could afford on the boxing world. They were talking about how he could afford Matias or something. I remember I did a video about that. I don't know why Elvis ain't getting the shake. But check out The Row. It's the video back in archives, you know what I'm saying, called The Row, where I was breaking down, like, the channel is Golden Boxing Era, does English and Spanish vids, more English though. Okay. Salute, Ghost. Thanks for that, man. I appreciate you. But boxing in a good state, man. Boxing in a good state, man. And you know, let's just be true to ourselves, man. Let's just be true to what our eyeballs see. True to the sport, true to the principles, man. Because right now, man, politics, affiliation, is ruining it. But anyway, y'all, just wanted to touch bases, man, and wrap up this clown business, man. I hope T.O. bounce back, man. I still want to see a Matias eventually, but just not right now. I don't want to see no Bud right now, T.O. You need to go get some of that specialized training, man. Go back to the lab like 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? When 50 went and got with Eminem and Dre, and they, you know what I'm saying, they came out. But that's all I have for you, y'all. Thanks for tuning in here at Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.